Welcome to Sketching with Izzy. Hopefully you all can hear me. Let me double check. Never know. Never trust the machine. Can't be trusted. Hope y'all are doing well. Okay. I think it's working. Let me know if it's not. Cypher, welcome. Yar. Avast. Come aboard. Let us sing many a shanty. Today I wanted to paint on a high saturation thing. I thought that would be a fun challenge. So we're going to start with a deep red. I've got a little bit of red reference, and we're just going to use that kind of as our starting point. And I'm just going to go. Maybe you guys talk, maybe you don't. It is what it is. Don't normally start with lines, but we're just playing around today, doing some new stuff. You're an integral part of our getting a priority implementation done this year. They sent you peanuts? What? Oh my God, that's messed up. Oh, capitalism. Wow. Wow. And like there's no riot at your office? I'm assuming most everybody except for the muckety mucks got literal fucking peanuts for acquiring a 7 mil gig. Wow. Oh, that's delightful. So infuriating. Jesus. Like, just, you gotta leak that. You gotta leak that to the press, because that's just, wow. Wow, 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 wow. Amazing. Jesus. I hope you're mad, because I'm mad for you. That needs to make it to the local news. Kilrathi, welcome. Knox, VFX, welcome. You've been coding for 14 and a half hours? Jesus. Oh, from 14. Okay. 1,400 hours and 30. Damn. Trying to keep your job for another year? I don't know. That's, yeah, fair enough. I mean, it's crazy. It's a crazy time, so I guess they can get away with literally paying people peanuts right now. Is there ref on this guy? No, there is ref. It's from my ref folder. The problem is it's a little bit cheesecakey. I think it's some actress. I don't know her name though. Thought some warm-up sketches might be a fun thing to do today. Keep it nice and loose. I'm using the background color, which is this really deep red, as sort of I'm using it as my canvas color, and it's my background and all of my shadows. So I'm painting, but also just erasing out of the painting to get back to the darks that I'm after. I wonder if this is, what's her name? Dita Von Teese? No. Isn't she covered in tattoos? This girl doesn't have tattoos, I don't think. I don't know. Thanks. This is your sleep paralysis demon? That's scary. Don't do that. Yeah, I forgot that he has a Spanish name. definitely something I tend to do a lot is I don't give enough of the cranium shape. I'll add the ears back in once I get the head shape kind of feeling right. Kova, relax. This is going to be very much largely a game of temperature, since I'm using that background color to kind of play as our dark. Just messing slightly with grays, like introducing just really warm grays into the painting will make them feel bluish, even though this one is basically kind of a purple. It'll feel relatively blue. This is simultaneous contrast. It's my favorite. Boy, thank you so much for the follow. I'm glad you could join us. I think I liked it better without the brows. Oops. That's weird. It shouldn't have changed the values like that with the liquefy. Guess we'll just have to do it manually. Naomi! Hi! Aw, thanks so much for that sub. You're the bestest. How are you doing today? Same. Just hanging in there. Trying not to do the COVID flip out. Doing some weird ass lips. Brushes? Are you enjoying those? Those are all the brushes that you get when you joined the Patreon cipher. You has them. Admittedly, it's a pain to go through them all, but they're all there. Definitely channeling some Mike Husser tonight. Yeah, that's the brush pack. Oh, they will do this for you. You just must tame them. You must give them little treats, little apple slices, and they will come, and they shall perform such choice treats. Is it presets or are these just the raw brushes? They're just the raw brushes. I don't really augment them that much. I'd say try them out, and if you find brushes you like and they're not doing the effect that you want, post it on the Discord, and let us see what you've got. Maybe we can help edit the brushes just a touch so that they're doing what you're after. Should just keep it in this position for when somebody just randomly clicks on this stream. Hello. Hello. We are friends. Is it one of those faces that are faces upside down too? You mean like that optical illusion? Yeah. Wasn't what I intended, but it kind of happened. I can tell you that it started happening when I put the eye makeup on and I did the opposite where the lush lashes are on the bottom instead of the top. And once I started doing that, it just kind of continued. Smarfy, how's it going? Welcome. Glad you could join us. I inspire you. Aw, thanks. That's awesome to hear. Check this one out. Yep. Yeah. I'm sorry, guys. It's so quiet. It's very quiet in here. I'm going a little mad. Ixie, welcome. Glad you could join. Man, I am so sore from my archeries. Oh, my shoulders. I'm half doing my archery practice to work on my shoulders. I told you guys a story about how I dislocated them multiple times during a storm on the boat. And yeah, it's just been constant pain ever since. So I'm trying to do some sort of quasi-fun physical therapy. That's the gif right there. Oh no, I've been in lockdown too long, guys. Oh my god. Okay, what are we doing here? Let's get it back on track. It's looking so amazing. Awesome, thanks. Loved the textured brushes. Thanks. Yeah. These are all really common, easy to find brushes online. They're sort of the standard set that most illustrators and concept artists have been posting and reposting for the last 15 years at least. It's a lot of the same stuff. But if you want them all together, they're the automatic reward for joining on the Patreon. I only made a few of those brushes. The vast majority of them, it's just been a collection that I've made. And what I thought was a good idea was just to give anybody that's interested in getting those brushes all of them, and then finding the ones that they like for themselves. You know, instead of just kind of picking them for you. But that said, it's a day. It's a whole day taking those brushes and just digging through them and seeing what you like. But yeah, what I generally try to do is when I've got new brushes in, I'll try them out, and if it's something that I don't see any use for immediately, it gets cut right away. I delete it right there. If I see like maybe this could be useful for something or an interesting texture when I need it, I'll save it. And then I kind of periodically, like every 6 months to a year, will go through, and the brushes that I haven't really used all that much get tossed. And it's been a pretty good refining process. Just Marie Kondo that shit. This 100% reminds me of the paintings of one of my teachers from when I was in college, Mike Husser. If you guys aren't following him, you absolutely should. He paints some awesome, weird, gothic, industrial creeper shit. It's great, and I love it. You love making the brushes? That's awesome. Oh, you make brush sheets for what they look like? That's actually a pretty smart idea. I should do that too. You have too many brushes. Oh yeah, it's so easy to kind of habitually collect them. The problem is that when you have so many, you end up not using. They kind of clog up everything. My general rule that I like to live by, so you can see how I've kind of worked my way around it because I too am a collector of brushes, is I've set it up so that it's horizontal. It's as wide as it'll go. It's actually as wide as my screen is normally when I'm painting, which is the full aspect ratio of my monitor. Right now I'm using a 1020 whatever in order to broadcast the full screen to you guys. But my rule is that I need to see all the brushes without scrolling up or down. So I made it as wide as possible, of course, so I can have, hundreds of brushes or whatever, 100 brushes without having too much worry about it. And then if I start to get so many that I have to scroll even a little bit, then it's time to cull. And that makes it really easy. Darth Nelly, you spell Mike's last name Hussar, like the people, Husser. I believe his Instagram is just Mike Husser, at Mike Husser. Let me spell it out here. Like these. There you go. I believe Mike is his first name. I haven't talked to him in literal decades, but awesome teacher. Well, no. He taught me a lot, but he was definitely one of those teachers that just kind of sits down and paints. And he explained it. I'm sure his style has evolved significantly in the last couple decades, but he would just paint. And I mean, it was really great. But he would get into the painting and he'd start painting and then wouldn't dismiss us to go back to our paintings. And then so we would just be standing there watching him paint. And all I wanted to do was paint, damn it. It's all I wanted. Thomas Blackheart teaches that way. Yeah. I mean, everybody's got different teaching styles. I was a really difficult student. I know that. I've always been one of those people that asks why all the time. And I know it infuriated some of my teachers because they would tell me. But that's how I think. Is like I need to understand the mechanics of things in order to really get them to stick in my head. And so that's how I teach too. Is once I've learned a lot of these things, I took all the stuff that I learned and then condensed it down into really simple language, and removed all the artsy fartsy woo-woo stuff from it, and just made it into simple rules. And explain why. Everything is why. So if you have a why, I'll usually have an answer. Because I'm that kind of guy too. I just need some cheekbones, y'all. Just give me them cheekies. Oh, yeah. Cheekbones you can cut cheese with. I don't know. Don't ask. I don't know these things. Cool, Smarfy. It's been minimized to the tip jar for now. I'm going to be doing some reworking in order to do a more intensive crit style classroom that I'll be doing. It will all be public here on Twitch. And also I will probably be developing a mentorship program that's also built around building a community, again, here on Twitch. So it is a little bit crippled at the moment, but it will be back up and running. I'm hoping I will get things going in January. So February will probably be the first month that I actually have proper tiers again. But in the meantime, all of you that are watching, definitely feel free to join the Discord to keep your finger on the pulse if you're interested. Also, I got a bunch of students in there that have been studying with me for a long time, and they can totally guide you, point you in the right direction, and give you crits and things like that. It's a great, great community on there. Awesome. You were difficult too, Darth. I think it's some of our lot just to be that guy. Piner J, welcome. Glad you could join us. Thank you for that follow. Darth, Nelly, you can find the Discord link below in the About section. There's a pretty thriving public channel and then a patrons only channel. Like I said, the Patreon has been a little bit quiet lately, but I will be remedying that shortly. How much time into which project? The Patreon? Thank you for following, Sackville Baggins. Tell all the Bagginses that they are welcome here. Oh, how much time am I into the painting I'm doing? I started this at the beginning of this Twitch stream, so about an hour, 49 minutes, give or take. I know what I want. Yeah, I'll get these little hot spots and then I'll drop in a really cool spot, or specular. Oh, thanks, Darth. Oh, thanks for the follow on Insta, Darth Nelly. Appreciate that. Reminds you of John Foster. Well, that's awesome. That's a hell of a compliment. Yeah, he was exploding when I was coming up. So that definitely makes sense. I'd have an influence. Don't know the name, but have I done work for Wizards of the Coast Magic? Yep. Same name, Izzy. That's a me, Mario. You'd like to do work for them one day? Oh, awesome. You know, they don't just take digital work. In fact, the best paid artists on there are traditional artists because they sell the original commission and then they sell the traditional finished paintings. Definitely, if you can get follow Ryan Pancoast, Chuck Lukacs, and there's just a bunch of them, and Esper. Shit, where's my book? Oh, I can't find it. Oh, there's so many artists. Yes, Jesper Elsing. Thank you, Naomi. He's awesome. Jesper is super cool, and his book is amazing. But these guys all do traditional stuff, and they sell on and they do art for Magic: The Gathering. So don't completely discount yourself because digital work is not your forte. Because they don't just take digital work. All right, check it out. It's dope. I would follow all those guys and ask them how they do it, what their process is. Jesper just released a video on Gumroad where he shows his whole process for painting with acrylics using brush and airbrush on Gumroad. Yeah, it's amazing. And he did that for, I think, a Magic the Gathering painting. Karl Kopinski is also great for traditional Magic. Yeah, I'm sure the gang here could give you a full list of people that you should all absolutely be following. And of course, ask them those questions because they're going to be much more informative than I am on that one. Ermagerd, welcome. You has the points. You has so many points. You have quite the boner for my suffering, I must tell you. I see you. Hey, you do you, boo. I'm gonna show you how to dodge the art director. Come at me, bro. Thanks, Baudelaire. Welcome. Hmm. My brows don't really go in this direction. They don't go straight up. I think I'm going to do it a little bit more side organically. This character is weird enough. They're giving you some kabukis. That's good. Can you donate a spin for good cause? Of course, I haven't tested it yet, but we can try it out. If you're dying to throw a monkey wrench. If she's just too creepy for you guys, I guess we can art direct it. Just admit you've got the fear. That's all I want to hear. Yeah, I could definitely see Kabuki as an influence here. Like the really pale skin, strong reds and black colors. Yeah. It wasn't intentional, but I see it. I go with it. I go with it. Give her little roundy brows. I don't think there's a more or lesser mouths in the wheel of art direction. Love to get a critique from a person of my digital caliber. How to make the transition from art to more concept. Well, we can always talk about that. The critiques, like I said, those will be through Patreon or gaining points here on Twitch. But yeah, I'm happy to do that. And yeah, certainly when it comes to work and painter's life or artist's life, you know, no topic is taboo. We can talk about anything. So if you got questions, ask them. Irma Gerd is an agent of chaos. Oh, you all are monsters. Oh no! Alright, well, let's see if it works. Real quick, I gotta sign into my Streamlabs just to be sure. Head to the widget. Okay, here goes nothing. Badoosh! There it is. The Wheel of Architecture. Wait, Art direction, not architecture. Sorry guys, I'm sleepy. So yeah, this is I've included this as a fun bonus little game that we can play. We spin the wheel in order to kind of throw a monkey wrench into the game. This happens. All of the things that are on this wheel happen to be, for the most part, things that I've actually heard myself from art directors. But there's also several that have been gleaned from Pocket Art Director, which is a set of dice. It's just for making your artwork more difficult. So yeah, we'll give it a spin and see how it goes. Let me catch up here. I missed some mentions. Have I messed around with Procreate? I love Procreate. I've been working on it the last couple of weeks while my computer was down. The Wheel of Art Torture. Insert symbolism. Oh my, yes. Oh yes, 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 yes. Okay, here we go. Enough delaying. All right, let's spin the wheel. Oh no! More rock and roll. This is actually a critique that I have gotten on the job. It's totally a thing that's been said to me. So when you get weird critiques like this, it's up to you to figure out what it means, because half of your job when you're working with an art director that doesn't speak art language is learning how to decipher what it is that they're saying, or what it is that what they want, and that can be pretty tough. Also, yeah, she is pretty rock and roll already. What happens if I get a coffee break? The coffee break is just sitting and drinking my coffee and relaxing from painting for a little while. You actually got in a fight with a friend today over him saying study art properly and refusing to define what he meant by study or properly. There it is. You have your own living wheel of art direction. All right, so how could we make this more metal? We can certainly go further with the eye makeup. Shirael, thank you so much for the follow there. Appreciate that. I could painfully, literally add rocks and wheels. Literal rocks, yeah. I could be painfully literal. It's true. Darth Nelly, thanks for that follow, man. This is my follow alert from the Fifth Element. No, I don't think so. I think it's one of the stock ones. I don't know if you guys hear it separately, then, because I'm not listening to my PC, because you're hearing all of my PC alerts, so you get any alerts that come up. I'm listening to my phone. So you guys not only get it on your end, you also get my mic picking up my speakers, because I always forget to turn them off. So that may add an ethereal Fifth Element sound to it. So what would be more rock and roll? Let's see. I kind of want to add another element to her hair. Let's see. Let's get out, not that brush, but let's see, how about this guy? Maybe a bat wing. Bats are kind of cool. Wheel is still up. Thank you. I forgot. Let me fix that. Appreciate it. Piercings and leather. Oh, piercings. I haven't done crazy ass piercings in quite a while. I'll do that. I have some go-tos for that. You just reply to the art director, "Don't you see the stream of blood? That's a nod to stay." Yeah, we could try that. But I always try to accommodate the art director, make them feel like they're included. Rockabilly, like give her a big beehive bun. Actually, no, you know, well, I kind of like the Batwing idea. So we'll do the Batwing and we'll do something else that I got in mind. You think because that hair looks like a bat, he was thinking spooky and Halloween overlap a lot? I reckon they probably do overlap a bit. These goddamn brushes. No, we'll do both for sure. Just repainter as Johnny Silverhand. I just ordered my copy today. I am excited. All right, and then my go-to rock and roll move when it comes to piercings that I have not done actually in years. It might be from The Fifth Element, I don't know. Nips and lips. How do you typically respond to direction like more rock and roll? Do you just fire back with some questions to try and understand? Okay, so with that particular art director that gave me that art direction, at first it was super confusing, but over time I managed to decipher what it was he was after. And so I stopped asking because I knew what he actually meant, even though he couldn't say it. And yeah, I just took that experience with him to kind of suss it out. If you're working with an art director and it's a new relationship, a new working relationship, and you don't know what they mean, and it doesn't even need to be that arbitrary. Just if there's ever a time where you don't have like a clear idea of what it is that they're after, it's completely reasonable to ask for clarification in a respectful way and try to get them to explain what it is they want. it's better to do this right away rather than continually missing the mark. You want to do it quickly if you're confused. If you think that you're not following, absolutely ask for them to clarify. If it's a thing where they're not able to clarify, and sometimes that does happen, then see if you can get a more senior artist to come and help out and maybe act as a translator for you. But remember that civility is going to be probably the most important thing. Does that make sense? You dumb idiot. That doesn't mean anything. Ermagerd, don't do that. Yeah, I mean, honestly, really the key to getting your work to match the vision of a person that you're working with is to really slow down, try and pull away from your emotions. Don't try not to have an emotional reaction to the things that they're saying, even if they're saying really rude shit. This is being a professional. You need to separate your self, the value of yourself, from the work that you have, and the work that you're showing. Your work is not you in any way whatsoever. Never ever misconstrue those things. Certainly you can have pride in your work and you can feel bad when your work isn't great, but don't equate yourself with your work. So you're a person that happens to do art and you're doing it professionally. And when you're doing it in a professional setting, you need to be a professional, and you can't fucking flip out at people because they said, your eyes are all wonky or whatever, or, especially if what they're saying has no basis in reality. You really don't want to be flipping out about this stuff. So your best bet is to take a breath, listen to what they're saying, and then ask for them to clarify. If you're not understanding something, ask for them to clarify for specifics. So let's say, all right, I want that to be more, it's not rock and roll enough. It's too cartoony. Make it more rock and roll. Okay, I hear you. You're saying it's feeling a little bit too playful, maybe? Or are you wanting it to look a little more edgy? Or by edgy, do you mean you want it to feel threatening? Give them vocabulary. What you want to do is kind of like pitch different stuff at them that would help you in terms of verbiage, but it gives them sort of like a ledge to cling to in order to explain to you what it is that they're after. A really good art director, in my opinion, should, like a teacher, be able to explain what they're after in different ways to different people without, getting all irritated and shit like that. Because this is, also from an art director's perspective, because I do this too, is you need to be respectful of the people that are working with you and trying to work on your vision. And you need to understand that communication is everything here. So it's, in order to get the best and cajole the best out of the artists that you've hired because you like their work, is to let them breathe, let them kind of do their thing, but be sure to clearly communicate what you're after. So it's kind of a game of tennis. You got to bounce the ball back and forth. But to facilitate that as an artist, because you are not in a position of power, let's be honest, what your goal should be is to always approach it from the position of trying to clarify whatever their message is to you so that you can deliver what they're after. And that doesn't mean that you need to be a pushover either. I saw a while back. I will respond to all of these. I saw somebody say, RG Villain said, have you ever had to implement some changes that you didn't agree with? So here is kind of an answer to that. That does happen. Absolutely, I've had feedback in which I didn't agree with it at all. I had strong opinions about how it should go in one way or another. The way to deal with this is it's a measuring game. So if you have an art director that's explained to you that they want it done a certain way, and you've been through iterations and they keep pushing on a one direction, you want to just do everything you can to try and match whatever it is they're after, and just throw your hands up. Just make sure that it's as good as you can make it, but don't worry about getting your vision out, because you are working on their vision. You are supplementing their work, and you're working in a support role. So that's perfectly okay, especially with commercial art. That's a challenge in and of itself. Again, a good art director should recognize that in you. Now, if you haven't been pushed too far and it isn't raw that direction, and they're saying, yeah, I really want this, and you're like, no, but I really think this would be better, then the way to do it, if you have a good working relationship with your art director, is to do it their way, and then if you have time, spend a little bit of time doing it your way. You show them their way when it comes down to review time, and you say, here's the piece. I did it according to what you were saying. So these are the parts where I didn't think that it worked so well. Here's another option that I worked on that I think is pretty solid. What do you think of this? And present them the option. Sometimes all it takes is being able to see it. So if it depends so much on the art director and the situation that you're in, but that is an option that you can do in order to deal with a disagreement. But remember always that they're going to have the final say. Barbarian Hamster, thank you for the follow. I'm sorry I missed that. Appreciate it. Glad you're here. Joker, SGFX, thank you, sir. Really appreciate that. Not an artist or an art monkey. Or you're not an artist. Yes, you are an art monkey. You're a cog to a degree. But you're being paid, hopefully well. And hopefully you're working on a project that you like. If not, remedy that. You've had that experience, someone bringing his emotions into work and unloading on you. Took everything in you to keep from punching the dude. Oh man, that's a tough one. So yeah, that does happen. I mean, humans are humans. Humans gonna human. When you're faced with that situation, and it will happen at some point. It's happened to me a couple of times, and I've done it. Where I had a bad day and I probably took it out too hard at work, and it happens. So you endure it, you weather that part, and then after you've cooled off and after they've had a chance to cool off, you approach your coworker, whoever it is that you're working with, that you're struggling with, and ask to speak to them in private. Never, ever, ever have a confrontation in front of other people with a working peer. It's instant doom. Ask to speak to them in private. Take them into an office and say, hey, I understand you might be going through some things. I really don't feel good about how things went today. Here's how I feel about this. What do you think? And get it out. Almost always, people don't want to be dicks, and everybody wants to have a smooth and fun working environment. And everybody knows that we all have like a sick day, if you will. If you think of it as a sick day, and just kind of approach that person and say, hey, you bumped into my space a little bit with this, and it's bugging me. I need to get that off my chest. What do you think about this? You can smooth things out really easily most of the time. I have had dead ends, like full-on dead ends with peers where like we do not talk. We like barely acknowledge each other. It happens. Just let it go. Try not to obsess about it. It is what it is. Every now and then. I mean, not everybody you work with is going to be your friend. This guy was being an ass to multiple people. Yeah, that's definitely the time that you're going to want to approach them on their own, have a conversation. Rick LN94, thank you so much for the follow. Glad you could join. So hopefully that answers your questions in regard to dealing with difficult communications with art directors and working environment stuff. It takes practice, just like your painting, just like anything else. You know, if you're trying to learn a new language or whatever, learning to communicate in the workplace in a professional manner and to, you know, check your ego at the door. It takes time. It takes practice. And you're not always going to get it right the first time. So you got to learn to forgive yourself too. Awesome. I'm glad I could help with that. So if you add something like that, some new element, just to make it a little bit more rock and roll, you gotta light it according to the scene. Little drop shadow action. Hell yeah. Let's get that drop shadow. And felt like you couldn't do much because he was the client. Oh, yeah. When it's the client, that's kind of different. Yeah, there's not a whole lot you can do. But even then, it is not your job to put up with clients' bullshit or anybody's bullshit at a job. If you are being put in a position where you are extremely uncomfortable in any fashion, you should say something. You don't need to be an asshole about it, but you should absolutely defend your space, defend your well-being. It's honestly, it's the only way you're going to be able to really thrive in that kind of environment is to make sure that you occupy the space that is yours, you know, in the social sense. Kova, enough. Hey, little bastard. She's just trying to occupy her space. I know. And the other option is, when it comes to really difficult clients, is remember that you have leadership that's there ideally to help you. So look for, you know, it's like Mr. Rogers, look for the helpers. There's going to be people in the workspace that are going to be thoughtful and caring. They can be relationships. They don't necessarily need to be friends. This is one thing that it took me a long time to learn. Just because you have a relationship at work does not mean that you are technically friends, but you know, work friends. They have different support roles around you. So just finding the people that you can vent to, that are safe, that you can trust. But you also don't want to be the guy at any job. You don't want to be the person that is always bitching. Like if you can sense people are rolling their eyes when you walk in and they're trying to get out because, you know, they're tired of listening to you whine and whinge about stuff at work, how stuff's not working, how things aren't going right, that's pretty toxic too. I'm speaking from experience on all sides of this. I have experienced being around that person. I have been that person. So trust me. It is not a good feeling. Just don't even get into that mentality. It doesn't help you. It doesn't help anybody else. But if you really experience some shitty moment, absolutely, it's okay to vent to your work safe friends. Your boss's advice was that you should have straight up walked out and took a breather. Yeah, you're stuck in their office. Oh, which was out of town. Okay, that sucks. It sucks, but even when when you're not on your home field, expressing your boundaries is not an unreasonable thing to do. And if it loses you a client, that's not a client you wanted to work with anyway. It's just like how I approach when it comes to pricing. Like if I get approached about a job and they're like, "Hey, what are your rates?" And I'll be like, "Well, these are my rates. This is what my work is worth." Oh, that's too much. Then you know that maybe these people are not people you want to work with. In that same vein, you can use that as a measurement, a litmus test for the quality of your clients. You don't have to take every client. Like exclusivity is kind of a good thing. It can be a good thing anyway. Hmm. I want to finish real quick what I had started up here with these little kabuki scars. And I paint a lot of creepy stuff in general, but I have not for a long time really painted a whole lot of body horror, which I used to do a lot of, like really weird body horror paintings. I always thought that was pretty fun. It's entertaining to me to come back to this a little bit with a different mindset. Yeah, absolutely. One of my dream jobs. Like when I heard that they were doing a television production of Hellraiser, I was like, what? Give me that. Erica Cherry Boo, thank you so much for that follow. Appreciate that. Do I share my bad experiences with other artists so they know to look out for certain people? Not going to ask to name drop, but just curious. Usually I don't do like if it's a we both know, or if I hear them complaining about a specific person for a specific thing that I find issue with too, I might lean in and describe my experience if they ask, but I try these days to stay out of that sort of thing. um, it doesn't really help anyone. That said, we've recently in the particularly Magic the Gathering and concept art world have had a couple of real big reveals in the last year or two of pretty toxic people. And the mentality to try and keep quiet about that sort of stuff has kind of fallen away a little bit. Um, so I would say it's a use your best discretion kind of thing. If it's something in which this person could potentially harm someone else, then yeah, it's probably your duty to talk about that. But if it's just like, I try to err on the side of redemption, because I have been guilty of so many toxic behaviors in my lifetime, And you know, I grew and learned and made an effort, and I think most people try to. So I try to give the benefit of the doubt and not make a huge deal out of things. But if you have a person that you're working with or that is a client or whatever, and they prove to be pretty regularly toxic, or they are actually harmful to someone else or you, then yeah, I think it's perfectly reasonable to talk about it and even name drop. It's always going to be kind of a personal call on that one. Angel Celeste, thank you for the follow. Glad you could join. So what happened there? What did that line come from? When did I draw that? Oh, it's an eyebrow piece. Okay. It's just too separated from the other part, so I'm just going to pull it out. Although it kind of inspires me. I kind of want to add some scratches to her in general, and I'll be doing that probably on the body a little bit more. But I like these kind of like little, I don't know, cookie cutter marks where she's just been punched with a cookie cutter. Working with leather, I used to do that quite a bit back in the day. They have these hole punches for the leather, and it makes a mark really similar to this. Angel, enjoying the content, loving your work right now. Oh, thanks. I really appreciate that. It means a lot. You think for rock and roll, I still need some more adornment? Okay. All right. You got any ideas there, art director? Pitch it to me. Big rock and roll signifier is tattoos. This is true. All right. In order to do tattoos, it's always best to first have your skin worked out. Never apply tattoos to a painting or a concept until the skin has been refined, because you are going to constantly be fighting the skin down the line. So first things first is I got to really finish out this skin before we start talking tattoos. Just trying to soften the transition of this shadow a little bit more so it feels more like a cast shadow rather than like, I don't know, some kind of weird skin disease. When I'm painting skin, I tend to like a hard brush, weirdly, that has a really smooth transparency or opacity shift like this one. In fact, this is a go-to brush that I use just for a full wholesale painting period. When you think of rock and roll, Or when you think of rock, you think of torn denim and lots of leather, glitz and glam. Well, you're talking about a very different rock and roll than I'm talking about. How about that? What do you think of that? I don't know if denim's going to work in this painting. But maybe some studs. We can find some places for studs. Not ruling it out entirely. I was thinking that she would be really, really like skeletal, but it's going to be harder to paint the tattoos on that, so I'll just round her out a little bit more. Hmm. Bondage is rock and roll. A Hello Kitty tattoo. I see, I see. Gotcha. Just suggestions. That's all right. I think I kind of want to curve her. Let's see. I'm kind of thinking of curving her shoulders in, like kind of doing this like hunched in kind of look. Let's see if I can pull it off. That means that the clavicles are going to be a little bit more raised off of the rib cage. And then the insertion of the deltoid is going to be down here. Or the origin, rather. I like this because it'll really significantly change her silhouette overall and make her more ethereal and give me a chance to kind of throw in some more cast shadows from the shoulders onto the breasts and the chest. Kova, relax. This is a really common sort of anime trope that you'll see when a character is like super flexing. They're like flexing so hard they dislocate their shoulders. No. Do you even lift, bro? What's up? Hush. How old is my dog? She's gonna be 7 this year, I think. She's an English Bull Terrier, so she is excitable and stubborn as fuck. She's cute though. but total pain in my butt. She's got pretty severe obsessive compulsive disorder. So yeah, when you hear me shouting at her, it's usually to break an obsessive cycle. It's not because I'm beating the dog. Okay, I don't know about this muscular. I might be overdoing it a little bit. I still like the silhouette. It's more interesting. It's certainly like more animalistic looking and kind of dangerous. I'll just thin it out, I think. So that means making the muscles really, really slender and not have very large bellies. And then also making them stand out almost tendon-like instead of like a heavy, heavily nourished muscle. You want it to be kind of narrow and stringy. Precious puppo, yeah. Fire and ice. I think with her being this much stringier, we can definitely ease up on the breasts a lot more. So let's go ahead and knock them all the way back and go back to rib cage. If you're having problems with breasts, like in terms when you're doing your drawing or painting of it, the alignment's not right, the shape's not right, or something like that. One of the things I've noticed that I've done and that I've seen students do is you get so caught up in the rendering and trying to get everything smooth in the shape that you can lose the accuracy of the anatomy altogether. So when you find that you've completely lost the plot there, back all the way up. And one of the ways I like to do that is I'll just go straight back to a rib cage and I'll paint it as though, because almost always the one thing that I see missing and that I start to miss when I'm doing this is laying the breasts naturally on top of pectoral muscles and the fat that's in that area already. If you can't read the pectorals underneath the breasts, then the breasts are wrong. That anatomy is there. Because the shoulders are far forward, the pecs are even more important because you're going to see the overlap of the pecs, especially above breasts. So it changes the angle of everything because the pecs insert behind the humerus. Certainly more metal, I'll tell you that. Again, we're going for thin and striated, more stringy, ropey. Okay, so I like to figure out my landmarks that would exist on a torso without breasts. So you're going to need your sternum, you're going to need the insertions of the pectorals. I also like to throw in maybe a little bit of rib cage action. This one's a little bit tough because I'm using the background color to be the shadow, which means that we're not going to see really too much of a hard edge on, how the, well, I'm going to draw it in anyway just to make my job a little bit easier when I do this, but you wouldn't see too much of this. I want this to be lost edges. So this definitely needs to come forward. The arms and shoulders are in front of the pecs. So forward like that, deep divot. Instead of drawing in, I'm not traditionally a line guy. I will do lines. I started this painting with a couple of lines, but I usually like to go straight into shape and volume. So we're going to do that. I'm going to make a new layer because I like the chest as it is, and then figure out the drape of this flesh. See how automatically it starts to feel more accurate because we have the pectorals inserting above the flesh of the breast. It makes all the difference. And because I know that I'm still going to do kind of a top of some sort, I don't really need to get too deep into rendering this, which is another thing that happens. It's just over rendering. The rule I like to follow is if I have a really rendered spot in the body, then anything that would be titillating, if you will, pun intended, will not be any more rendered than that spot. Just enough to get it done. Okay, now we're going to do a new layer. I'm going to grab that. Let's see, maybe more of a rock and roll corset or something. Since I have drawn out kind of the back end of how her rib cage will follow. So now that I have this is great because now I can mush the flesh of the breast around it even more and make it feel more realistic. Oh, hush. Hush. I might have to move it all up and see. It's definitely not meant to be like an important feature here, so I don't want to really overdo it. I just need enough to get it feeling rock and roll. Gotta go continue homework. Thanks for the stream. Hey, glad you could join us. Welcome back anytime. We'd love to have you. And good luck with the homework. Yeah, we've definitely dislocated the arms quite a bit, so it looks scary as hell to me. Just need to narrow up the deltoids a little bit more so it doesn't feel quite so bulked. Pokey Pikachu! Welcome! Thank you for the follow. Glad you could join us. Sketchbook 8. Also thanks to you for joining and following. That black is gonna always overtake, so I don't want to have to try and paint over it. I'm just gonna erase it instead. We're making the arms all creepy creepersons. Thanks, Pokey. I'm glad you dig it. I think we may have to actually tuck this back even further. So copy paste it, drop it under the arms, kind of like see if you can make it feel more sunken, like she's kind of tilting over it a little bit, which of course means a lot of this is going to be lost in shadow. Thanks, Sketchbook. Calendar, thank you so much for the follow. Glad you could join us. So I want these arms to feel a little bit alien and off, but I don't want them to be completely broken in anatomy. And right now they're feeling kind of off to me. Like a little too much. It's just not gelling. So I have two options. I can go back to line, or we can simplify the forms. I think in this case, because we are dealing with something so alien, it might be better to try some lines and see if the lines can save us. They may not be able to. We may have to just scrap the arms. It happens. Not a biggie. Ooh, oh my, it is rather late. What time do I have? Okay, gang. Hot damn. Well, let me give myself these notes for the arms and see kind of what I'm thinking here. And then I will have to bid you adieu. I think, so what happened here is my rib cage got lost. So I think it's a good idea to start with the structure first. We know that the insertion of the neck comes up here. I've made it a little bit, I've over exaggerated it significantly, but that's okay. So rib cage here, center. See, this sometimes happens, like when you do it the way I do it, where it's just all it is painting first. Is sometimes you can lose structure for lighting, and you don't want to do that. I think maybe this clavicle will just be shorter looking from foreshortening. Insertion of the humerus, or the head of the humerus rather. Okay, shoulder blade. So one thing we're definitely missing is more shoulder. All right, so I'm going to turn this down. We should have enough for another wheel during the next stream. All right, fair enough. I'm ready. Bring it. Okay, make a new layer, and I think, so now that I've kind of got that worked out a little bit, what do we got to do here? Whoosh. Okay, so her neck is going to come down. Insert into the shoulders. I want that crazy material of the trapezius kind of curling around. It's got to connect to the clavicle, between the clavicle and the scapula, the shoulder blade. So the starts of our deltoids will be here instead. Because she's thin, I don't want it to belly a whole lot. I want it to be thin and kind of, Marla Singery. Might even see, I don't know, what do we see? A little bit of shoulder blade there? Maybe. I think I was pretty close in some ways, but it's funny how that works. When it comes to anatomy, when it's off, it's just off. It just is. It sucks, but it's true. Biceps. I mean, obviously I'm not going to paint her this muscular. Muscular. But to get it to light correctly, I need to know where those muscles are lying. Lying? Shut up, don't judge me. Of course it's my first language. If you can pull yourself away from Cyberpunk long enough to tune in, yeah, that's going to be, basically I'm going to be using Twitch and work to modulate my amount of gaming. Okay, nope. And then another head here. Deltoid has 3 bellies. Then bicep, tricep, and the insertion of the pectoralis, which goes behind the bicep, like that. Okay. So I wasn't too far off. I just needed to get the lighting right. So let's go back and kind of clean up that edge. I'm gonna make a new layer, pick my background color, and then I'm gonna outline it more accurately. I think also her neck needs to be significantly thinned to match this body type. So I will make notes for that too for our next meeting, should I choose to attempt finishing this. You taught English yourself through years of movies, music, and video games. Hey, but that means that you learned English as a second language. English is my first language. I have no excuse. Okay, let's pull in this neck real quick. She's got kind of that Japanese long neck ghost thing going on now. Okay, I think with that, we've got pretty good notes for next time. Let's set this to multiply, just so it really stands out. I'm gonna have to figure out those hands. I should do something different with them real quick. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta go in and draw. Yeah, that's gonna be fun. Well, we'll save that for next week. Or not next week, I'm sorry. Thursday. I'm going to have to really consider that because of the stuff I'm doing in terms of work. I've got my pitch still going. I'm still refining the pitch. So that's got to be primary job right now. I will say, let's do Saturday. I'm going to try a Saturday show. So we're not going to do Thursday. I'm going to change on the calendar. I'm going to try Saturday at I think maybe 10 a.m. 10 to 12 I'll start and then kind of just go until I get tired or have something else to do. We'll give it a shot. See how it goes. Awesome. Well, hey, thanks, gang, for hanging out, for your patience and all the great ideas. Did I miss any comments? Totally finish it, yeah. Eric Spa, thank you so much for the follow. Mr. Burns pose, yeah, kind of, a little bit. All right, gang. Well, thanks so much for hanging out. We'll see you Saturday, like I said. I'll make an announcement on the Discord on the exact time. The Discord, you can find the link down below in the About section. Come join us. We chat around on there. The video that's to follow, I'll be describing some of the stuff, some of the content that I had available via Patreon that is not currently available, but the Gumroad totally is. So please, if you're interested in learning, check out those lessons that I describe in the following video. Until Saturday, as always, paint smart, paint sexy. I'm Izzy, a professional writer, concept artist, and illustrator. I've taught painting for a dozen years or so, on and offline. Many of your favorite illustrators and designers have studied with me or under me and have gone on to teach in their own right. You're here because, like they did, you want to learn to paint realistically for illustration or concept art. Well, worry not. You're in the right place. Grab a seat. I want you to join me as I explain all the aspects of image making in extremely digestible and clear monthly lessons. Not through the lens of silly how to paint hair or eye demos. That shit is carnival tricks. And you're not really learning anything except an exact way to render one thing in one manner. This is painting mysticism at its worst. Watching these kinds of exploitative lessons won't help you level up with your understanding. Sure, now you can paint sparkly hair, but what if you want to paint a dragon, or figure out how to render a sea of fire, or depict a one-eyed transgender space marine dying in the vacuum of space? Painting and image making are tools of communication, and can be learned by anyone willing to put in some time. Like grammar is for language, light, color, and form literally follow a formula. Painting well is not a matter of chicken bones, zombie crackers, and the ever-dismissive concept of talent. Learning with my series, Izzy's Logic of Light and Color, will give you the tools and understanding so you can analyze light and form in reality and bring it to life in your work. Using this simple system I have distilled will help you harness your art to share your ideas as you've always intended. When we are children, we all draw in symbols. Symbols for our house, our hands, the sun, the grass, our pet lobster. As we grow into artists, we must learn to throw away symbols and begin to draw and paint what it is we actually see. And as we grow further, we learn to paint beyond what we see and what is actually there. Until finally we move beyond this and learn to trim away what is actually there so we voice only what we want. With me, you're going to have to buckle in and maybe take some pain meds, because I'm going to rip out your normal person's eyes and replace them with a painter's eyes. I'm going to restructure how you see and how you understand what you're seeing. I'm going to turn you into a painting machine. Truly, anyone can learn to paint realistically if they can both determine what they're seeing or imagining with basic and straightforward rules. Once you understand the mechanics of light, color, and form in reality, you will have the capacity to paint anything you can see or imagine realistically. After that, the real fun begins. Here are some of the ways you can join me and master the logic of light and color. The very first lesson of my series is totally free on my YouTube channel. In that lesson, I give you the 3 primary rules of light that are the very foundation of painting and understanding light itself. If you do nothing else to make your painting mastery easier, at least watch this amazing little lesson. It will do more for your basic understanding of light than just about any tutorial you can find. When you're ready to get deeper and you feel like you have those first rules figured out, allow me to utterly blow your mind with the next episodes available on Gumroad and ArtStation. As we go deeper into the rules underlying the logic of light and color, I carefully and simply explain important and interesting elements. From beginner to pro, there is an amazing amount of information available. Each concept has been distilled into the clearest explanation you're likely to find anywhere. Like episode 2,
where we cover the atmospheric effect and how that relates to light, scale, and distance of objects in reality, and how to render it. Or episode 3, where I hand over the ultimate key to controlling value in your paintings. Episodes 5 through 8 are all about rendering materials. Want to understand the logic behind rendering metal, leather, hair, transparency, damn near anything. I even cover the logic behind painting special effects like fire, neon, or lightsabers in later episodes. The lessons just get deeper and more detailed as I build on the foundations covered in preceding episodes. The 10th gives you the most important rule of composition you'll ever learn to keep your images interesting. The next few episodes cover important painting techniques like my edge control ninjutsu or simplification with the large to small system. We dip a toe in color theory, devote a few episodes to finishing full-blown illustrations utilizing the techniques we've learned so far. Some episodes, like the lighting game or Advanced Exercises 1, the shirt, present cheap, valuable, and practical exercises to give you explosive growth in your development. Episodes 22 through 25 cover painting and illustration, just like I do for Magic the Gathering, from assignment and inception to signing the painting at the end. Each one is full of tips, knowledge, everything to make working as an illustrator easier. Did you enjoy learning how to paint basic materials? Metal, wood, and such? I got 3 whole episodes devoted to the intricate logic behind painting different kinds of skin. After that, more lessons devoted to pumping life into your portraits and original methods for accurately drawing faces out of your head. From fundamentals to photo bashing, Gumroad and ArtStation have every lesson I create available for purchase a la carte. But here's an even better way to learn with me. Stay current with my latest lessons on Patreon for the lowest price available. Monthly support gets my student that month's lesson, a critique or paint over of their finished work, a discount code for 25% off the entire Gumroad archive, and access to the Logic of Light and Color Discord community, where we plan future lessons, share knowledge, and learn together as a team. The absolute best method is to join my Patreon classroom at the Student Plus tier, where you'll get everything I just mentioned and a free episode from the archive every month to accelerate your mastery at your own pace. You've decided to take control of your painting and master Izzy's logic of light and color. Now it's up to you to choose the path that's best for you. I'll see you on the flip side. Paint smart, paint sexy.